Alright, today we are doing a little mini episode of Oakwood Zoo. We will be building an entrance to the World of Japan section. We'll bring in one of those iconic Japanese arches, as well as a few Japanese style huts, like where you can see the zoo map, and also just have some nice little resting areas with benches. So with that, let's get right into it. Alright, so hello everybody, and welcome back to an episode of Oakwood Zoo, and today, the second episode of the season 3, and we are going right off the bat with the biggest project of this season, and one of the biggest, most exciting projects in the entire zoo for me, the World of Japan. This is going to be something that is unlike anything we've ever done in a zoo build so far. It is a themed area, obviously themed around the region of Japan, but in the zoo it is going to be a small section, not a huge, not a really small section though, because we will have a decent chunk of the zoo dedicated to this. Because the thing about this section is that it's not just going to be animals. We will have animals here, but I also want to focus a lot on the architecture. I want to make a lot of cool buildings. So I want to build a cool restaurant, some cool lookout points, everything that just makes this really elevated. I really love Japan as a place. I've never been, but I really want to, and honestly, I really love the architecture of Japan. So I really want to do it justice in this, and I wanted to give it its own section. So that is what we will be starting in this episode. Now, if you can go to the zoo tour or even the last episode where I talked a lot more about the plans in general, but the plans for this section specifically is that we will have 4 species in this section, all themed around Japan, or all found in Japan. The iconic Japanese macaque, the Japanese red-crowned crane, the Japanese raccoon dog, which we just got in the Asia pack. I know some people have been, or at least I got a lot of requests for Asia pack species to feel like I haven't built for any of them, but we finally will be, and I apologize that it's taken so long. I just really wasn't in the right place to start building Asia stuff yet, but we are slowly getting into that with the raccoon dog, as well as our final one, which is going to be the red fox. Well, I was contemplating putting the red fox in the North America Express section or the Canadian Express section, which we'll do at a later date, but I figured it would be a nice fit to put in here just to give it a bit more variety. But in this section of the zoo, we will have 6 episodes total. This episode that we are currently in being the first of 6. The second one is the pagoda, which we will be building the centerpiece of this entire section, which is going to be a lot, but I'm planning to get that done. I want that to be the last big thing I do before the end of August, because if I will mention it again in this video that in the coming months I will not be as keen to making episodes, and I won't have as much time. I still really want to, and I still have lots of ideas for a lot of the series we're doing and all the games we're playing, but I just don't have enough time. I'm not going to have enough time in the coming months to do this, so I am trying to give a send off to each and every series this month. You'll be seeing more stuff with Prehistoric Kingdom, I'll write another ranking video, stuff like that, just to close up those series. We still be continuing them, but it'll just take a lot longer to produce content for them. Anyway, but for this series we will have 6 episodes. One episode is the entrance, which we're doing today. The second episode is the pagoda, which is going to be in that big centerpiece in the middle, stacked smack dab in the middle, which is going to be a really cool giant pagoda tower. You that classic Japanese style tower, which I'm wondering if I should let people into it. I kind of want it to be something where you just walk in and walk out, kind of you see some cool artifacts maybe, or something like that, or just a cool statue, or maybe it's just something you look into, so it's an ancient building perhaps, something along those lines. That could be maybe, and then I'll have the thing we'll also do is we'll have gardens all around the pagoda, so we'll have nice little trails and bridges, so that will be a lot to do. So I will definitely be working on that in the coming months, or not the coming months, the coming days. So I'll see how far I can get on that, and I will probably release whatever I have at the end of August in another episode. But anyway, that is going to be the first 2 episodes. The remaining 4 episodes are going to be the animals. We'll have again those 4 animals: macaque, crane, fox, and raccoon dog. Those will each get its own episode dedicated to them, and then I guess technically counting as a 7th episode, we'll probably do a touch-ups and plus a final tour video. which we will go through the entire world of Japan. So that's going to be very nice. Building in this area specifically, we're talking about this. This is really interesting. I kind of like this. Again, this episode is kind of a more basic one. We have that classic gateway that you see a lot of the times in like Japanese architecture. That cool like little archway. I believe it's called a torii. Torii, Torii. I'm not exactly sure how to say it. I don't know my Japanese. That's as much as I know. But yeah, I had to include that. I originally was going off of a picture of the Zoo Berlin. I think it's just the entrance. I'm pretty sure, but the Berlin Zoo architecture with that, because that looks really cool. And I did take inspiration from that in the other like the side buildings and like, the roofs there. But they have like a really cool, really tall archway, which I tried to do, but it didn't look that good. If I'm being honest, it didn't look good at all. So I erased it eventually after like a couple hours of work. And then I went for a much more simple design with the torii here, which I think honestly looks really good here. I think it's basic, but I think it works very well. Again, this will be like a long walkway that you go into. I've changed I've used a different kind of pathing for this area. I think I might continue that along like the entire area of the Japan section, because why not? But I think overall, I think it looks really good, and I think it's going to be pretty enjoyable to do like different gardens and stuff like that around the next episode. The overhang kind of structures, I originally was going to make those into like information booths or washrooms, which I know we haven't built any washrooms yet in the entire like zoo, and there will be a day will be built for washrooms, but for now I don't know. I didn't really feel like they fit in too much. If we're like at the start of the Japan section, I will probably add a washroom, or definitely want to add like a restaurant, like a Japanese restaurant, to the area. But for now, I think those little hanging, like the overhang areas at the beginning, are just some nice areas where you can just look at the zoo map, figure out where you are. And I want to make more of those outposts where you had the zoo map and just like a little tree to rest under around a lot of the bigger landmarks in the zoo, like the pavilions and the other like houses, like the desert house. So we'll probably put one there as well. But yeah, that's really much it for what we do in this episode. There's really not a lot. I've also used a bunch of the stuff that we've already used in previous episodes, like the chain fence where you had like drooping chain fence, where we used that along here. I squabbled a lot with what kind of fence to use. I went from using the actual East Asia fences where we had like the concrete one, but that didn't look, I don't know, I felt like it was too, not too easy, but I didn't feel like it really stood out that much. It wasn't really in my vision, so I changed it and I went to a different one. I used one that we already had, which was just the chain fence, which I think looks pretty well. It fits a lot with a lot of different things, so I think it works pretty well there. We also use a lot of the plants that I've already used in previous episodes. You have the buffalo grass. I've used some older ones that we haven't used in a while, like the saltwater bush or the saltwort bush, the ash bush. I can't remember what it's actually called, but that is very helpful as well. I use some really helpful trees from Japanese trees from someone on the workshop. I will link them down below, and I will throw up I'll put them down below in the description so you can download them yourself. They are very helpful, and I'll be using them for the remaining episodes, I guarantee you, of this mini series, the Japan section, because they are very, very useful and they look very, very cool. They combined the twilight bark pieces of the stump, like the broken tree twilight pieces, with that bush that I was talking about, the ash bush. I really can't think of what it's called, but yeah, it looks amazing though. I've made a lot of planters and stuff. I put one square planter in the middle with another really big tree. I didn't do a sign that was like World of Japan. I feel like I should have, and I might do that once you actually get inside the area. Like once you maybe like cross over a bridge, you'll see the sign in the distance, which will say like World of Japan. I feel like that might be cool to look at. I don't want to overstay my welcome with the voiceover here, because I know this is a bit of a smaller episode, so I'll try to dial it back here. Again, you already know like the next steps in here. We're going to be going next to the pagoda and right in the middle, because the idea for this is that we'll start with the pagoda and then we'll work all the way around that. So it's going to be kind of like basically a loop. You'll go all the way around. The restaurant for the Japanese section will be probably somewhere close to the middle area. I'm not exactly sure. I also want to do a lot of I want to do a riverway. When you first go over when you first enter, you'll go over a bridge, and that brings you to the actual island of Japan, where it's basically this entire thing is going to be closed by trees. So it's going to be really cool that you'll be able to go directly in a loop and then come right back out the same way. So it's going to be very interesting. It's very cool. I want to make sure that everybody gets to see all the animals at once and then come out at the same time, because then it kind of breaks the immersion if you go to see something else and then come back and it's not the same area. overall, that's pretty much it for all I have to say. This is really kind of a shorter episode, so I just wanted to update you guys on what the plans are for this area. And again, once again, I will not be as available as I am currently in future months. So I just want to get this out now, and just hopefully you guys will remember that. And I want to keep mentioning that in all these videos, because I know videos are maybe a bit dying down in like views, just because of like the not relevance to Planet Zoo anymore, because the DLCs, I don't know, have been getting less attention, and it could be the last one of the Asia Pack. I know some people have still said that they believe that there is another one. Totally fine. I just don't really think there is. Again, we haven't seen any news of any DLC in the live streams. They haven't mentioned it twice in a row now, so I'm pretty sure that this is the end, but who knows. I think that's pretty much it for me. I think I've overstayed my welcome with this voiceover. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. If you did, if you are excited for the world of Japan, because we do have a lot to go with this series, and a lot of this specific section, which we will be working on currently. Again, I think it's honestly just kind of like a board thing. If I keep making this stuff like for the Japan section and I get maybe a bit bored, then I'll move back over to the desert house for just an episode, and we'll build for either the tortoise or the sand cat, and then by then we'll probably be ready to go back over to here again. So we're definitely going to fish this season. I just might get a bit tired of building Japanese architecture, especially because Japanese architecture is so much harder to build than regular architecture. It is so annoying. It's easy to find inspiration because there's so many cool pictures of Japanese architecture online that you can look at. It's amazing. You can look at it for hours because it's just so intricate and so cool, but it is so difficult to build in Planet Zoo. Because there's hardly any pieces that like really, you have a lot of Asia pieces, but they're not the exact same as Japanese architecture, because you don't have like those curved roofs the same way that the Japanese architecture do. It's slight changes that just make it kind of annoying, and I've debated like making my own roofs and stuff, but that would be taking way too long. So I found a good compromise of doing like the overhang stuff, but I'm scared for what I have to do for like the pagoda thing, because I haven't built that yet as of currently me recording this, so I'm trying to my best to do that. But anyway, I hope you all have enjoyed it. Again, if you are excited for this series, and if you have enjoyed the series so far, like in the past few episodes, hit the subscribe button if you have forgotten or just not realized it, because it helps the channel out immensely. We have just hit 3,000 subscribers with video. I think we hit it on the exact date the last episode went out, and of course that episode I was pre-recording my voice like I always do, so I didn't know it would be 3,000 by then. So thank you everyone for getting us there, and I will try to provide as much as I can in the next few weeks. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Enjoy the rest of the video. Bye guys, have a good rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.